Let me just check a couple of doodads here before we get started. Need to make sure everything looks good. Oh, yay. Day 3, baby. One shot, one chance, one opportunity. Ba-dum-ba-boo. Do-do-do-do. Lose yourself in the music the moment you gotta own it. You better never let it go. You only got one shot, one opportunity. So live with a little bit of unity. Developed video games. Off, 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 off with his head. We're slapping down a few bits here. Hello there. Ahoy! Hey, Max Jessa. Good morning from Miami. Nice to see you, Max. Is Miami... I was in Miami once. One time. Around New Year's 2000 and something. I was the tender age of 17, 19, and the adult slipped me a vodka on the down low so that I could get tipsy, which is a big no-no in America because you guys don't like having fun. Potato my man, you cannot be live right now. I'm supposed to be working. Well, the great thing about a live stream is you can put it on in the background on lowered volume, or you could just watch the VOD later. Like, that's the great thing about live streaming. When do we get the next Civ 6 videos? I need new stuff to watch while at work. Soon. I think the benefit of Miami was lost upon me because I was under the age of 21. I don't like sunshine, and I didn't really care about hot girls. I did like Hawaiian shirts. I think I would have fit in with the Puerto Ricans really well because I liked drinking and cursing. That's been my impression hanging out with Puerto Ricans in America. Every time I go to America, one of the guys who works in my hotel is Puerto Rican, and when I go outside for a smoke, I don't smoke anymore, but when I would go outside for a smoke, I would get talking to the Puerto Rican guy, and they would always there'd always be a Puerto Rican guy if I'm on the East Coast, and then we would get talking about like what our favorite alcohols are and how fucked up we like to get. Now, I'm not saying that's every Puerto Rican guy, but that's every Puerto Rican guy I've met. So I feel like I'd fit in. I am munching. Get munched on. Okay. So you guys notice anything about the UI? What do you think? I did this. Working on UI mod. It's not finished. It's like very much WIP, work in progress. But I think it's got some sauce. It looks clean. It's based upon an existing mod. Anyway, let's go into the next stage. Hey, Spuddies! Potato Big Whiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 7. This time we're going to be playing as SunSin as the Joseon. It's gotten very expensive to live in Miami over the years. Oh, that sucks. Okay, so we're playing as Joseon. And we're going into our apex age. So this is what we are meant to be doing. Is Civ 7 worth getting? Man, that is such a loaded question. I think I would like another expansionist point to be able to maintain specialists better. I think that would make me happy. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up a expansionist point. A scientific point would be great, because it would be super nice to get the +1 science and settlements for resources assigned. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a expansionist point and a scientific point. Alright, let's go. Sir, I'm just going to shift enter my turn. Now, technically, the mod that I did is just kind of expanding someone else's design. Technically. As in, that's exactly what I did. It's not ready for release. I vibe coded it. And I don't want to release something I don't fully understand. I need to, like, actually, like, fully understand the code, read it through. You know the drill. All right, here we go. So we're into the modern age. We're going to get to choose some dedications here. I mean, 3 field system is kind of interesting. It really has given some heavy lifting on the growth side of things. Khan El Khalili is pretty good. I think I'll go for Khan El Khalili. And then pick up some merchantos. Maybe an extra social policy slot is pretty good, actually. Ooh. 500 Diplo could be big. I'll go for the extra social policy slot. I'll keep my capital the same. Ask another AI to read through the code. That's not how that works. Okay, it's time to choose production. So here's Hanseong, our capital. There's no wonders that we can build right now. We could build our unique army commanders. So basically, land units that are in a capital gain extra combat strength within a command radius. So we can defend our capital well and attack other capitals well, which is kind of an interesting combination of abilities. I do think that setting up some early merchant trades would be really powerful for us. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and grab. In terms of resource assignments, we have a lot that we want to assign. Oh, for some reason the minimap panel is staying on top. Ooh, hold on. I need to make some... We're testing our UI live here. So we're learning the perils of Z levels in a UI. We need to get the minimap to go down some Z levels here. Very beautiful. What's beautiful? Your mom? Got him. Okay, disappears here. Certain things. Yeah. Okay, so it's just like I need to get the minimap to hide. Hold on. I'm trying to fix my UI mod. I might just disable it because it's not ready. Okay, reloading UI. Perfect. No longer. Now the minimap gets hidden when we open the resource, the commerce screen. It's kind of a hacky way to solve the problem, but I'll get around to fixing the Z levels later. I actually forgot that I need to Potato, I don't want to play with mods. Also, Potato next day. Hold on, I have to fix my UI mod. I mean, that should tell you a lot that this game made me break that rule. Okay, I enabled a few mods.
As empires rise and fall, Joseon persists.
Wait, the top bar UI is mine, but what did you combine it with that you also have the background of the leader portraits? So basically what I did was, statue, is I used your top bar mod. I haven't released this publicly because I basically made a mod of your mod. I redesigned how you built. Well, I got an AI to redesign how you built these panels, and I just redesigned it because I'm just using this to learn how to mod Civ 7 at the moment. I'm going to be reading through the code and doing stuff, and then I added a panel here behind the leaders, and then I used the AI. I like data mined a couple of mods to build leader ribbons that kind of were a little bit more clear to read. It's very much so. This is all very much WIP. I haven't like finished working on it, but yeah, I really like your top bar mod statue. I think it's beautiful, and so I kind of used your design up here to redesign the ribbons along here. I really love this gold text, so I actually managed to force the UI to draw religion symbols in that gold color, which I really, really like. And the journal, I kind of deconstructed your panels to create a journal that you can like switch texts and open it and stuff like this. And it doesn't have the gold trim, but it just, you know, frames this, makes it a little bit easier to read. It looks great. I was thinking about adding that too, but I couldn't upload a design I liked. If you have me on Discord, or like my DMs on Discord are open as long as you're in my Discord, I can shoot you the work in progress mod so you can look at it. If you want to like use the design that I built here, I don't feel ownership over it. Another little thing that always really annoyed me, and I don't know if this annoys anyone else, but it always really annoyed me that I could see a little bit of the game window in between the bottom left and the minimap. And so I basically morphed this panel, made it fit behind the minimap so that it would cut it off and make it feel like it was actually docked to the side of the window. I would like to do some work on the bottom right. All I've done so far is use mods to remove the gradient, but I want to try to figure out how I make this look clean, because there's like little things where, like, you see how the choose a technology thing, it actually becomes hard to read because like this gradient becomes too soft towards the left. There's like an issue with my top right leader panel, which is that if you look, if you look at this Dezaivu, there's like a 1 pixel gap, which is quite distracting. I could probably fix that right now. Hold on. Hold on. But yeah, I think this was your dock background button that I made all of the mods, all the changes I made live underneath this button that you created. I think this is your button. I don't remember. So you can just turn it on and off at will. Like if you want a more open view, you can go for it. That's fine. Or you can kind of create a nice framing. But yeah, I moved this up by a pixel or two now, and so like there's still a little tiny line, and I don't like that this panel is on top of the top bar panel. 1 second. In general, what really bothered me was that every UI element felt disconnected. That's something that drove me crazy. Everything felt like it was just floating in empty space, and that drove me crazy, which is why I loved that you got rid of this gradient, because now this top bar feels connected. This all feels connected and acts almost like a picture frame for the actual game. And that's kind of what I was trying to do. I just like used your little gradient here to build something that I felt like would frame the gameplay and like make things feel connected. And the idea was to try to draw the user's attention away from these sections of the screen towards the main gameplay space down here. And in a perfect world, I would make it a really nice ratio. I also made the minimap bigger. As a front-end developer, it was driving me crazy. Oh. But yeah, I just put this panel underneath the top bar now, and so now you get that nice clean golden line across. Which I think I think it. I can't remember what I did to these buttons, but I think you had like this little golden aura that I kept. Honestly, you did an amazing job reusing their assets to make the UI look way better. So I really liked it. What was I going to do? I was going to... oh yeah, I got to assign my leader attribute points. Okay. I would love to redesign this screen. I feel like this... Oh, dude, could we... Should we do it live? It bothers me that the players' things... Yeah, it actually drives me crazy that the player's icon is higher up than the AI's icons. Now, I get why they do this. It's because it's actually a thing that's like a carryover from multiplayer, which is like when a person hasn't finished their turn, their player icon is like slightly up. A player who has finished their turn, their icon drifts down slightly. Fuck, I want to redesign the screen so bad right now. No, I tell you what. Let me take a screenshot of this and send it. No. I'm not gonna mod the game live. I'll do that another time. So we're at the start of a new age. Let's go ahead and pick our attribute point. So I think on the scientific side of things, yes, I do believe that +1 science in each quarter would be a lot more science. But I think the science on specialist is actually crazy here. That's 50 science per turn. So let me grab that. Then when it comes to expansionist attribute points, I think getting extra maintenance yields towards specialists would be really good. I don't know about the turtle ship. Were you here, Statue, earlier, or like yesterday, when I showed people how the game looks from the other way when the light hits everything versus this angle? And how like certain elements of the game, like wonders, actually kind of look better when lit like without the shadows towards the player, but like other gameplay elements don't look as good, like mountains. Like if you look at mountains look beautiful from this side, but they look awful from this side. It's just like, yeah, definitely communism for your ideology. I'm not actually sure. So from a tech tree point of view, we care about not science building. We care about gold buildings. So the rail station, the factory, and the port. I believe we actually start with access to the port. No. Okay, yeah. So we really want to pick up the steam engine here. Because that will give us this is worth 2 GDP. Every port that we build is worth 2 GDP, so that would be a really good way to kickstart our GDP per turn. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get started on the steam engine. In terms of a civic, let's see. You could honestly make the banners on the leaders drop down with the rest of their info, have the civ emblem in a bubble. The cities are way too dark and gloomy. Yeah. Listen, maybe one day we'll mod everything. Maintenance towards buildings is pretty good. That will get better as the age goes on. Resources from specialists would be crazy strong. I don't think we're going to get many of the other things. We could just go ahead and straight into the Joseon civics. What is GDP? GDP is a resource that is produced for an economic victory that is based on how many gold buildings you have, how many resources you have slotted into cities, how many resources you have imported slotted into cities, treasure convoys, and your factories. I do think the social question would be really good. If we plugged in humanism and social science, that'd be great. I don't know why my settlement limit says 1 to 17. Okay, +1 resource capacity, range, trade rate range is good. Yeomanry is okay. Levies is decent. Guaigeo is really strong. Ooh, this is really strong. 113 food, 20 culture. Bourgeoisie isn't very good for me. If we wanted to go hard on trade routes, that would Tequitel could be really good for pumping up our science. Science from gold buildings? Ooh, I do like that. Production from warehouse buildings is good. Food. Yeah. I think we're interested in making a lot of science right now, so I'll go for Tequitel and we'll build up our trade routes heavily. Better maintenance for specialists seems really good for us here. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, we have some surplus influence, so let's have a look around at city-states. I think an economic city-state or two might be really helpful. Big Timbers. Okay, Stone Town. Let's go ahead and improve relationship with them. Big Timbers, I'll improve relationship with as well. We do have some trade opportunities that we're going to want to try to take advantage of. I think I'm going to convert Horyong to a city. Is production still king in Civ 7? Production is just always king. Yeah. Anything that is a player agency resource is always going to be king. So I'm going to go for early merchants in this age. I do need to assign my resources. I won't be able to assign factory resources. Let's see. Let's go for bonus resource. I want to shove a bunch of... Well, actually, I have a happiness problem in my capital. So let me see if I can deal with this. So I'll plug some pearls into my capital first. That'll bring us up. Horyong. What kind of happiness? We have elephants that can act as pretty good happiness resources. Horses are 8 happiness, so that's fantastic. So I'll put all the pearls into my capital. Let me pull out the fish. Pull out all my bonus resources. Unfortunately, we no longer have Jade, which gives us the crazy ability to crank gold income in our capital. Base culture, production. I reckon it would be really nice to crank out science in some of our towns, so I'm going to put the Cowrie. At this point, the science from this is actually really valuable. So I'll crank some Cowrie into my towns. That's worth a significant boost of science. Potato loves cranking it. I like how the foxes make a little squeal noise, but it does sound like someone just recorded like their friend squealing and then ADR'd it into the game. Someone asked me to make a separate section for cities, towns, limit. Ah. I liked it. Cities, towns, limit. I see what it is. It makes it harder for my brain to read. But it's fine. I'll just get used to it. It's just one of those things that I need to get used to. Okay, so we've assigned most of our resources. I think we do want to assign as many as we can so we can benefit from them. We do get gold, and we do get culture from assigned resources, which is really good. Civ 7 is so Korea heavy. I hope we get the same treatment for all civs. Oh, that'd be cool. Assemble the boats. I don't know if I want to go to war with someone. I could probably attack Napoleon, but I don't want to, is the thing. I'll send my turtle ships to explore. You can auto-explore for me, and then we'll go to the next turn. Perhaps add icons for towns, cities, and limits. I think it's just one of those things where once you get used to it, it'll make sense. I think always moving straight to making changes to a UI at the first sign of user friction means that you're constantly shifting around. So I'm going to trade with Manchester. I'll reconciliate with you. I want to be peaceful. We finished a merchant, so we build another merchant. Choose a government here. We've got authoritarianism, bureaucratic monarchy, elective republic. So authoritarianism gives us food and gold in settlements that you've conquered. We get less unhappiness penalties. We get production towards training military units or war support on wars that you declare. Are you having more fun with this version of the game? Yeah, I think the game is a lot more fun. Garrison state. So this gives us... Okay, so this is like the war one, which we're not really looking to do. An elective republic is like the culture science one, right? You get specialists. Oh man, look at that. That's beautiful. Would love the specialist maintenance stuff. You get science. I should have gone for a science victory as the civ. In hindsight, it's obviously a science civ and not an economic civ. Let's see, 5% gold towards purchasing buildings in cities, or 10% in joyous cities. You get 1,000 gold immediately and get 20 influence towards diplomatic actions. This actually doesn't look that good for an economic victory. Like, I almost want to go for the ability to just pop 1,000 science to get to the economic victory things faster. So I think I'm going to go for elective republic, even though technically I feel like bureaucratic monarchy is like the one that fits. Elective republic fits with my playstyle better, I feel. Okay. I'll trade with Knots. I've got a narrative choice here. 1,000 happiness. Oh, that's really good. +3 happiness of the Confucian Academy. I'm just going to go ahead. Ooh. I'm going to take the 1,000 happiness right now because getting a celebration sooner is really strong. I've got some crabs to assign. Hell yeah. Beautiful. You auto-explore. You auto-explore, because I'm tired of manually exploring, honestly, at this point in the game. I wouldn't mind getting Geneva on my side, too. I'll take the 6 influence per turn from the local festival, Lakshmiba. I need to fix whatever this is going on here, like the leader panel thing. It's very sloppily implemented. Let's trade with Ahmadabad. We're going hard on the merchants early game. We've no more space for resources to be assigned. I would prefer to have cavalry assigned than fish. It really... Does it piss anyone else off that, like, if I select a resource and I want to replace a resource, it doesn't let me unless there's already... And right-clicking doesn't deselect. Oh. Like, you have to have a space to be able to select the resource and switch it in, which just, it drives me crazy. Yeah, I want to assign more cavalry because I want that science per turn. It's horrible. Yeah, it drives me mad. Drives me absolutely batty. Yeah, I'll trade with Rome. I would like to reconcile with Rome. We've got a bunch more resources. Nothing to assign. That's fine. But like, I definitely need to fix this panel doing weird stuff when you're like talking to another leader. Like, it doesn't need... Well... And then like, it's jumping around, right? Like, I need to work on this a little bit. And there's like a gap. It's fine. Okay, more merchants. Cool. I'll go at Malapuram. Narrative choice. +3 golden towns. I think we take the 3 golden towns because we literally can't spawn more cities as Joseon. But our gold income is sick. All right, choose celebration. I think I want to take the 1,000 signs immediately so that I can crank through Steam Engine.
Soon shall thy
Beautiful. There's Ironworks and the port and the Ironclad. So in the meantime, I'm going to get to work on a port because that's going to give me 9 gold per turn, 2 GDP per turn, which is my victory resource, right? If we go in here to the modern age, we want to make GDP, and you get GDP from age-appropriate buildings. We're making 25 GDP right now. I think it's kind of funny because we used to be making 90-something GDP per turn. So we're going to get started on a port in here. I think I don't mind crushing the shipyard. Losing 6 food and 2 happiness is fine. Or sorry, I'm crushing the wharf. So yeah, we'll get started on the port in there. Then I think I'm going to go for military science into industrialization to get the railway station, which is another gold building. And then ultimately, I want to get my factories up. So we can assign a new policy. +1 resource capacity. This is worth like 1 GDP per city, so it's worth not that much. Yeomanry's not bad, I guess, as a stopgap card for a little bit of food and production. And we'll trade with Hideyoshi. Hey Potato, love your channel, hope you're doing well. Would love to see you play Old World again. Old World is a game that I would definitely love to get around to playing again. So coming into Joseon, I want to get my ports up as soon as possible. Because these are worth GDP. There's a +3 adjacency port right here, so I'll put it right there. Boom. And so in theory now, we should make 27 GDP per turn. So we're going to grow the town. Resource assignments are open. So Joseon now has more room for things to be assigned to it. I don't think we need to worry about much, but I think assigning crabs to this... Oh, wait a minute. If I click and drag, sometimes the screen resets. That's infuriating. Assigning the food here, that's worth 40 food. That's really good. Similarly, in Daegu, I'm going to want a port. So I'll build that port right there. That's another +2 GDP. Gongju, I want to build a port. Let's see, we've got some decent adjacency around here. There's a +2 GDP. Wonju, I can't afford any more ports, but we'll chill. So Daegu, I can specialize, and the question is, probably want to do factory towns? Oh, I should have put... Oh, it would have halved the cost of the port towns. I'm such a dummy. Okay, so pretty much I want all my places to be factory towns, with the exception of one per continent, which might be a hub town. But I think I'm just going to go all factory towns. That would have saved me a lot of money if I had turned these into factory towns first. But you live and you learn. I would like to settle more cities. Ooh, big timbers over here. You know, I reckon I could get a couple of settlers up there. We have room for 4 more settlers. So if we could get a couple of settlers up here, we could get a few more factory towns on these islands. So I think I'll try to slip some settlers up to the north. I'm going to build a port in my capital. I think building it here will get me a adjacency on my palace because this will become a quarter. 14 gold per turn, 7 science, 5 culture. That's great. I'm just going to go ahead and... We have no more trade routes available. It reckons that Ada Lovelace would be a good trade partner. She accepted the trade relation. So I'll trade with Ayutthaya. Daegu has room for more resources. I'll slip the crabs in. I'll slip the fish in. Beautiful. Glad to see you streaming today. We're on 3 days in a row streaming. Ouch. Got hit by a hurricane. I came in like a hurricane. Let me go ahead and gold purchase some more settlers. Because I think, yes, we lose out on a little bit of GDP early into the game. Early into the age, rather. But we end up in a much better GDP position, I think.
The memory of having sat at
Okay, so there's a social question.
will later make
We're going to change our policies here. I don't think we want yeomanry. We really want science. So I'm going to pick up social science here. I'll keep constitution. I would like to build a Huisong. Huiseyong. Tradition slots are strong. But I think I'm going to research Seongni Hack, which is going to give us access to the Confucian Academy. Which theme is this? I have genuinely no idea. They really need to add a like a bar up here, like an audio bar that tells you which songs are playing. I'm going to purchase another settler. I'm going to go for 4 settlers. One here, one here, one here. Like, kind of just spread them out just so we can get more factory towns for the GDP. You can only turn towns into a factory town if they have a factory resource in them, as in they have a factory resource improved. Got it. Thank you for the reminder. I kind of had forgotten about how some of these gameplay mechanics work. Not enough gold for a settler, that's okay. Stonetown is... Oh, Stonetown just gave us the money for a settler. Perfect. Thank you, Stonetown. We've got a narrative choice. I'll get a free migrant. Vitkos has grown. I'll grab another copy of Cowrie. We have military science. We're going to go straight to industrialization. We want that rail station. Excellent. Resource assignments available. We could take a look at some triumphs here. In terms of the GDP side of things. So let me untrack these. I tracked these just to like give us something to in the journal. But I reckon 12 trade routes. Ooh, that would give us extra GDP per turn from city resources being assigned. Building 12 rail stations will give us GDP per turn. Assigning resources will give us GDP. Assigning factory resources and scoring factory resources. That's fantastic. Don't know if we'll go for the sun never sets. Shock City would be cool. Beep 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 would be cool. This would be cool as well. Megalopolis for 60 specialists. Sorry, Statue. Have a good day, man. Thanks for stopping by. Shoot me a message on Discord if you want to see the panels, the code for the panels. Wonju has grown. I'm gonna grow it. So I bought 4 settlers. Drama has stopped. Somebody has built the Huisong. So we're not gonna be able to build the Huiseyong. Augustus is upset with me. That's fine. Napoleon likes me because he likes that I don't have many land units. We got a migrant in Hanseong. So let's pick up a 3 food tile. That's great. My settlers on the way to the north. I'm going to send this train of settlers here. In theory, I could settle there, but it's not what I'm looking to do. Wonju, you can't be a factory town, so you're going to be my hub town. Dongne, you can be a factory town, so I'm going to assign you. That'll make the port very purchasable. I'll put the port right here. We're crushing an older building. But I do actually want you to continue growing. Oh, meh. Let's go to the factory town side of things. Dongne has space for more. Oh, God. Click and dragging is just so painful. All right, perfect. Resources are cranking. We could potentially... So Hideyoshi has joined communism. We made the little communism symbols gold. Maybe you don't want us to make them that color, but I thought they looked nice gold. I don't know. We're still working on things. She likes me because I have science and gold buildings. Perfect. Ada Lovelace. Dislikes that I have no masteries. We built a port in Hanseong. Dogo Onsen. Dogo Onsen would be good. I don't think we need any of that stuff. City Park would be good too, because we are losing happiness a little bit in here. We don't have like what I would consider to be great adjacencies. A +2 right there isn't bad. So the City Park gives you +1 happiness on vegetated terrains. That's just going to be a 16 right there. So I'll crack that in. In terms of Hanseong, we have some very high quality tiles. We could put this in here, although we are starting to burn through our happiness. So I think I'll grab this tile because it has happiness on it. We built a port in Horyong. I'd like to build the city park. $22 happiness, let's go for it. I am using a mod to see the yields in towns. I'm going to add some horses to these cities because they're struggling with their happiness and the age transition. We're moving our trail of settlers to the north, and then we go to the next turn. He just likes leaders with the most mountains. Okay, my bad. I wasn't trying to mountain mog you. Suwon has grown. Let's grab the crabs. Resource assignments are available. Gongju is ready for more resources. I'll just cram in a few there. Perfect. This could be a factory town here, actually, because it does have a factory resource, which changes the calculus of what we want to do, because this can't be a factory town. This can be a factory town. This can be a factory town. That does actually change how we want to think about this. There was a diplomatic city-state somewhere here. Geneva. I'll befriend Geneva. Can you see what the AI leader likes in the beginning, or do you have to get intel on that? I don't know. Alright, I'll go for this city because the citrus is a factory resource. My name is Blog Chungus. Heiju, I don't think it's going to be able to be a factory town. So there's Seon Nihak. Now, the Confucian Academy can only be purchased in towns. It is a culture building. It can't be built in the capital. Sorry. Hwaiseong. Somebody's already built that. +1 city limit. And Gwageo 2. I think we're good for now. In terms of civics, we would like to go for Seonbi so we can build a printing house. The combination of those two things, if we go to our leader abilities here, the Seowon unique quarter, if constructed in a town, the capital receives +1 population. So really, really good. City sprawl is so annoying. I agree, but I think partially they made that decision because city sprawl doesn't really matter in the way that it did in Civilization 6. Because in Civilization 6, the map is static. You don't have yield. You don't have like what adjacencies go where changing throughout the game. Whereas in Civ 7, the adjacencies actually change age to age. So I would like the factory resource, but I would also like to make sure no one can settle this island, ideally. So I think these two locations capture all the resources, and then there could be another city up there if we wanted to. So we'll go to the next turn. Cheers from Australia, you're a fucking legend. You're a legend too. Might? No. Okay, perfect. So we have access to industrialization. Now we want to make our way towards mass production. We want factories. I guess is there a downside to building too many cities? Your buildings get more expensive the more cities you have. Alright, so we'll grow. And Gongju has grown. We'll continue to grow here. Relationship will decrease. I'm going to try to avoid going through relationship decreases with people. I'll reject this. I'm trying to reconcile with people. So, like, these are not what I want. Okay, so let's see. Big Timbers allows the creation of the abattoir improvement. This gives you +5 food, +1 food and happiness for each abattoir in this settlement. You lose a happiness. Must be built on existing improvements. This allows you to scale up crazy food. Super interesting. Food on resources, food on food buildings, +3 food in settlements for each expansionist city-state you're a suzerain of. Zymergy is actually pretty good, especially if we could get another one. I'll take Zymergy. 72 food is like crazy. Is there another expansionist somewhere? I don't see one, which is fine. Oh, right. We also got stone towers, so we could build the entrepot. Gold on gold buildings is awesome. Branch office is super. Shipping lanes is great. I think I'm going to go for the gold on gold buildings. Because that's going to help. That's going to scale up to at least 8 gold per settlement. You're a hub town. Let me repair you. Gangneung, can you become a factory town? You can. Okay, so you're going to become a factory town. We're going to purchase the port. All of them are +2 ports. Then we'll purchase the railway station. So that's plus 4 GDP per turn from this settlement. And if we go check the economic screen, we should see a very slight upward curve to my line. We're up to 45 GDP per turn, which is great. Shipping lane so goated. It is really, really good. But we also have many ways that we can increase our trade range. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So both of these are roughly equivalent in terms of gold adjacency. So I'll put it here. No, this one has all the specialists on it. Well, let me think. Food buildings. I could put food buildings there. Cannery in the tenement. The advantage of crushing it, their cost would go down pretty significantly. Hey, Storm Shadow. Okay, let's grow to the resources. Joseon, go ahead and grab that. Yeah, we can't change anything. We could add another city. Daegu here could be a good city, honestly. Doesn't have amazing adjacencies, but it's like fine. Watch heaps of your YouTube, never caught you live. Well, here you are. I might save up and turn Daegu into a city. Yeah, I think we'll settle here and here and here. Napoleon getting outsettled? Absolutely. Get destroyed, Napoleon. Napoleon. Before we convert Daegu, I would like to buy the rail station in here for half price. Horyong has completed the city park. We would like the Confucian Academy, but we want these placed on the same tile. I would also like to build a railway station. So what adjacencies does a railway station get again? Quarters and wonders. Putting it here is a potential plus 3 or 4, so I'll put it there. If it's not a city, the resources allocated to it don't generate GDP. That's true. Very, very true. And it's something we need to keep in mind. The extra happiness from these mountain tiles would be kind of sick, but I don't think we need those. I do like that specialists are cheaper to maintain on what look to be dead tiles, like warehouse buildings. Like, that's quite nice, actually. Like, you can pretty efficiently get the yields out of these guys. Alright, we'll settle a settler. Jinju will grow here, here. We'll come back. Hope everyone's doing well. We're all doing great. So I get to choose a celebration. 1,000 science right now would shave 2 turns off combustion, which is great. It's exactly what we want to see. We can place another thingy here. Extra culture from specialists would be really good. We are starting to creep into hard to maintain our specialists, but that's fine. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and settle right there. And we want to grow towards this first. We want to get the coffee online so that we can turn this into a factory town. Vit cost has grown 11 turns for the next growth, that's fine. I've got the gold in here to buy the rail station. So I'll crack the railway station right there. And then I'll convert this to a city. We've got the railway station for half price, which is ideal. Let's go ahead and start building the stone cutter. Yeah, right there, that's fine. Resource assignment. So this will actually change this because you're now a city. So we can assign city resources to you. I'll add some tobacco and I'll add some foxes. Then I'll scroll down and I'll start adding resources to my other towns. I don't know why everyone's economic points just jumped. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm making 58 per turn. I'm beating a lot of these guys in the GDP game. Heiju has grown. Keep focusing on grow, 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 grow. I'm definitely going to settle right here. Make sure we grab the cotton and the fish. Perfect. We're making 1,000 gold per turn, which is really, really good. I definitely need to buy more ports so we can continue to pump up our GDP early into the age. There's Barrow Hill. There's Combustion, which is on the way to industrialization and mass production. I'll grab 1,000 happiness. Thank you, Geneva. In Heiju, can you be a factory town? So Heiju can't be a factory town, so we're not going to get the cheap port or the rail station in there. Let me have a look. Dongne. I need to save up for the rail station. So rail stations are worth 2 GDP, so I'm going to save up for it. Seon B. So we can now build our Seo once. We get a city limit, but I think we're going to stick to 3 cities because we have a couple of those attribute bonuses that makes it cheaper. Like if we have only 3 cities, we're better off basically. Potato, just watch your Galcia video. Really hope you continue it. I recorded 4 videos for it for now, but I ran into a fatal bug and I had to have like a back and forth with developers to get it fixed. But tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, Sunday, I plan to record more of myself playing it, that we can hopefully crank it out. So we've got the stonecutter in Daegu. I have no GDP buildings to build. I would like to improve the production in here, so like the sawmill. The sawmill would be a good shout. If I build it here, I get an extra adjacency on the railway. We've got social policies available. Silhack. If we want science from specialists without paying upkeep for it, I think we'll be fine for now. Somehow we're 16% of the way through this age. In Dongne, I'm going to buy a railway station. 13 gold per turn, 9 production, beautiful. That's plus 2 GDP per turn. We'll grow there. More resource assignments. Assign those resources. Okay, Pyongyang has grown, and probably we don't need to grow Pyongyang any further after this. So I think you're going to become a factory town if you can. You actually don't have a factory resource. You could become a trading post. Mining town for gold. I'll go with trade outpost. Repair everything in here. We definitely want the port. There's a 16 gold port right there. Beautiful. What's the biggest change, difference in Civ 7 from previous titles? The game is broken up into multiple ages where you can switch civilizations. That's going to be the biggest one. I definitely want to do Wealth of Nations. So I need to start getting trade routes up. That actually might be the most efficient way for me to increase my GDP right now. And I might be focused on the wrong things. So I'll probably spend a lot of my gold now on buying the buying merchants or building merchants, because I think the fastest way for me to increase my GDP right now is going to be going for trade routes and assigned resources. Then it's going to be railway stations. Then it's going to be factory resources. Commanders are another really big change. That's true. They completely revolutionized the game. How much for a merchant in Joseon? Only 720 gold right now, which means I could probably buy 2 this turn. Excellent. In terms of production at Daegu, we just finished the sawmill. We want to try to pump up the production in here, so I will build the ironworks. I'll build it adjacent to the railroad. And we'll put this specialist on the... Ooh, expensive. Very expensive. I'll put it on this cheap tile. I don't want to pay that maintenance cost. Wasn't there that 4X did the same thing, switching civs mid-game, so Civ 7 followed the same steps? You mean Humankind? I wouldn't say that... They did it very differently in this game. They both approached the concept from very, very different directions. Suwon is growing. I think we keep growing in here. We'll get back to this place. Jeonju has grown. I would like to keep growing. There's some really nice fishing tiles up here to the north that I'd like to grow to. Because that's really good for growth. Hanseong has finished its railway station. Perhaps we should go ahead and pick up a merchant with production. This merchant, I would like to trade more with the AI, like with other players, rather than the city-states. So I'm going to trade with Kamakura here. That gives us a bunch of resources we can assign, but I don't think we need to worry about that just yet. Ada Lovelace is probably another good trade relation here. So kind of just looking at the list, and whatever's near the top is what I select. We'll go to London. Bunch of resources to assign. We don't worry about that just yet. You thought of the monkey game and you thought of Humankind. Yeah, well, Humankind had that really cool, like, ape monkey intro thing. So we're up to a 17 city limit, which is good. No need to expand anymore. I think we'll put our specialist on this tile that just seems to be cheaper than other tiles. I think if none of your buildings are of age, you get a discount on specialist maintenance, which just is really nice. So there's a new victory tier, Decisive Victory, which is when you have 3 times the score of whoever is in second place. So basically just halved the amount of score that we need to win. We are climbing at 64 GDP per turn. We got to choose a city-state bonus for Geneva, which is a diplomatic city-state. Hey, 1989 some guy. Thank you for being a fan. I really appreciate this. We could grab the Circus Fair. The Circus Fair provides 6 happiness. It gives +1 influence when built in cities. Must be placed on existing improvement in settlements with at least 15 population, 1 per settlement. That's like pretty okay. It's not amazing. Happiness on happiness buildings is good. The free social policy slot is also quite good. I think I'll take the social policy slot here. That's actually really flexible in terms of its bonus quality. And we should be able to now slot something in here that'd be really useful. For example, commune, production when overbuilding is quite good. Resource capacity in cities in the homeland is actually worth GDP directly. Because putting resources into cities is worth GDP. But also, if we slot in enough resources, we'll actually get the Dojima exchange. So we just need a few more resources slotted into our settlements to get that. Let me go ahead and have a look at the tech tree here. Let's see. Resource. +1 resource capacity. So yeah, we would like to get a department store. And where else can you get resource capacity? Obviously the port gives resource capacity from what I remember. The railway station doesn't. And the factory does. Okay, so yeah, we'll get some more resource capacity soon. We finished a merchant in Hanseong, so I'm going to go ahead and get myself another merchant. Let's see if Ada Lovelace is willing to do another trade relation with us. We'll go to Sheffield. In terms of resource assignments, I don't think we need to shift anything around. I think we're happy. But we have an amazingly strong set of trade routes at the moment. We just need 2 more traders. Is the tech tree age specific? That's correct. Each age has its own tech tree. Napoleon likes the leader with the smallest number of land units. Okay. So there's mass production. We have access to canneries, factories, and we get +3 GDP per turn per slotted factory resources. So we'd like to get a factory up as soon as possible. I think right now we're still working on traders. I think it's another good improved trade relation with you because she just has the best trade routes available to us right now. We keep trading with her. We want 1 more trader. In Vitkos, I'll keep growing. Daegu has grown, probably good. Yeah, that's fine. Gongju has grown, so we'll take that tile. Himiko is happy that I have a lot of good buildings that she likes. In Gongju, you're going to be turned into a factory town, so we can purchase the railway station on the cheap. Skadoosh. Would be nice to build the Confucian Academy in the printing house. They're quite expensive, though. Hi, just hopped on stream. What's the name of the mod that changes the top bar? Is it only Statue's Elegant Top Bar? It's Statue's Elegant Top Bar plus like a custom mod that I made based off of it. It's still a work in progress, so it's not like available. Understood. Thanks. Looks nice. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Okay, so we get innovation. Innovation tourism. Is there anywhere in here that I can like squeeze out extra GDP out of my country? A lot of innovation-y type things. The stock exchange is +2 GDP per turn, so we would like to work our way towards that. I think we just go straight to computation to get the stock exchange. Don't forget to repair Wonju. I kept trying to repair it. Oh, there it is. Han Seong has finished a merchant. So this last trader, I'm going to quickly purchase the last merchant. And then I will get the city to get to work on building a factory. because they're quite expensive to buy, and I need to save money for my other towns. You see here, oh yeah, plus there's 24 production right there. That's a really good tile, so let's go for it. In terms of production 2, in Horyong we finished the railway station. So let's get to work on the factory in here as well. It'll take 13 turns. My railway station is here. I'll pop a factory right here. Not really worried about the adjacency. Let's look for another cheap maintenance tile. The saw pit and the brickyard. Actually, finally a reason to put specialists on those tiles because they're cheaper to maintain.
A miserly father always has a way.
Gyeongguk Daejeon. Traditions.
This is the way of
So this is Yangbeo Miu 2. This will give us population in the capital. And in cities with a Seowon, but if you don't have a Seowon, you lose culture. That's fine. We'll eventually get around to that. I might actually just drop that now. Was really good, but now it might not be as good. So let's just go for specialist yields. I'm gonna go for Samgang. This will improve my Yangbang bureaucracy too. I don't really need the city limit. It could be useful later if we want to max out our GDP. Once we're ready to GDP max, I think getting cities is good. I'm going to take 1,000 science right now because we need science to unlock our GDP potential. We do have a trade opportunity. Social policies. I think we have built a few more towns in distant lands, so the food and production here is actually pretty good. I have about 3,000 gold. So Gaesong, no, yes, actually, I should be able to buy a factory in here. Okay. This is a factory town? With a railroad? Right? I left no room for the railroad. You'll never be able to build your railroad. I never left room for the railroad. Derp-de-derp-de-derp-de-derp. Gongju, I'll be able to buy the factory. Which means we should be able to start in Dongnei. No. Wait. Sort has a factory. Gongju, there it is. So we can start slotting in a factory resource here. Unassign all resources? I didn't know that button was there! Let's see, 3% happiness, 5% production. I think the extra production goes pretty hard here. So I'm going to start slotting in coffee. Very nice. So in theory, we should be getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 35% building production in settlements with factories and railroads. Trade with Stone Town. That will get us Wealth of Nations. That's going to get us +2 GDP per turn from cities with city resources assigned. Excellent. So we should start to see, we're making 74 GDP per turn. We should start to see that climb. We do technically have space. Let me go ahead. Available resource slots to the top. And then we'll start slotting in. Assign 60 resources. +2 GDP per turn from cities with bonus resources in cities. Yes. Wait, was that bonus resources in cities? Hold on. From assign... Oh, interesting. So this will give us extra GDP from city resources. This will give us extra GDP from bonus resources. So now both count. And so now they're almost as good as factory resources, which honestly means we should just try to fill our factory towns. So we should see now, I was making 74 GDP per turn. Ouch. No kill. Please no kill. If we come back in here now, we're making, we've just doubled our GDP per turn, which is fantastic. 147. Cheongju has grown. Not really much we can do with that one. Lakshmi Bai has a message. I would love... You can't be a factory town. Dongnei can be a factory town, so I would love to buy the factory. Here we go. Here looks good. Boom. So now that Dongnei is a factory, let's go to the resource screen. We will pull up. Has a factory. Dongnei is one of those cities, so we'll start unassigning all of its resources. The screen is so unperformant. We've got room for 5 resources in here. Let's go for the 3% happiness from Cocoa. This screen drives me crazy. It's so unresponsive from a UI point of view, dude. Awesome. So that's going to be 15% happiness empire-wide. Which... It'll also be 15 GDP per turn, so we're slowly climbing up the GDP rankings, the GDP ladder. My little turtle ships are getting wrecked. So Daegu has just completed an ironworks. We want to build our factory in here now. I will put the factory right here. I don't think adjacency matters. We just want to build our factories. Keep trying to retreat. Azogashima has been captured by Japan diplomatically. I wouldn't mind getting another city-state or 2 under our belt. It's just like they don't have the particular type that I like. We have 2,000 gold in the bank. I need to wait a turn before we can start maybe thinking about another factory town. Gangneung could probably get its factory next. You happy for Gongju? Gongju is cranking out now. Okay, Wosan, we're going to start growing you. Yeah, we're just going to go. Eventually we'll invest into you. Right now that's not a priority. What an interesting settlement location, Caesar. Gangneung has its port and its railroad. Let's get its factory. Look for a good adjacency here. There's a +3 tiles. We'll just drop it right there. And that means this place can now accept resources. So if we go filter by has a factory, Gangneung is now a valid location for this. Oh my goodness, the screen drives me crazy. Why did I choose this victory type? We can fit a lot of coffee in here, so let's do it. Oh my god. This screen has such bad performance. Let me make a save here real quick. I'm going to disable my mod in case it's giving... I have this custom mod that I built. It might be giving me performance issues, so I'm going to quickly make some changes. Additional content add-ons. It's the docked subsystem HUD, and then I'm going to add in statues, elegant top bar.
As empires rise and fall, Joseon persists. In the calm behind its fleets of turtle ships, Joseon builds a society that balances Confucian meritocracy and kingship. A harmonious order, as all else seems to fall. Hold the line, stand firm, and let Joseon thrive.
Alright, begin game. Let's go. Ugh, the journal is so much worse. Hold on. So, is this screen just really bad on performance? Or was it me? Oh, I already hate that the leaders are so spread out now. I do think he has awesome armor. Town growth. Yeah, grow towards the fish. The fish is going to be high food tiles. That seems decently fast. Did you fix your SSD? No. Sometimes the game does actually load decently fast. Ham Hae-young. Let's grab the elephant. I've got surplus influence. Maybe there's a militaristic city-state I could make friends with. It'll take 30 turns. That's fine. We're not looking for a quick turnaround. Yeah, maybe the mod I had made this worse. Maybe. I miss my UI. Alright, so there's electricity. +1 specialist limit is nice. The laboratory is good. +1 science on quarters is useful for science gain. If we have 5 laboratories, we'll get a scientific attribute point, which is pretty damn good, as we'll be able to pick up +1 science in settlements for each resource assigned to them, which is pretty good. Here is a factory +16 in the capital, which means if we wanted to, we could assign factory resources to the capital. I don't know if that's what we want to do. I do like the idea of the growth. But I think we're better off focusing on making factory towns first to absorb the hunger for resources. We could build a bunch of these buildings, but none of them give us GDP. So I think, I mean, the cannery would be great for growth rate. But again, I don't think that gives us GDP. So I think the thing that we're going to do is to spam merchants. Because we need to get our hands on as many resources as possible. Let's go to the next turn. I need to explore this land over here, so I'm going to ask Hideyoshi here for open borders, and I'm going to buy a scout or two nearby. I could probably explore him with merchants, but it's fine. All right, let's see. Who has, let's see. I want to find more factory resources that I can slot in. So, Yeah, Gaddy's Nuts has got 4. So I'm going to talk to Rome. I'll improve trade relations with him. And then I'll come down and I will trade with Gaddy's. Hideyoshi just rejected your open borders. That's fine. It's not even important, dude. He did. Son of a bitch. I'll still send scouts near him so we can try to find his cities and trade with them. A lot of folks are staying with Civ 6 and waiting for more updates or 7 or even Civ 8. I think unfortunately, unfortunately for the developers, I think a lot of people just have completely written off Civ 7. A lot of Civ players wrote off Civ 6 on launch because it wasn't like Civ 5. But I think the unfortunate thing with Civ 7 is that there was a large group of people who were kind of interested in something new, and Civ 7 really appealed to them. And there is a group of people who really love Civ 7. But I don't know if the game landed really well with those people, unfortunately. I really need influence. So let me have a look here. We're struggling hard for influence. So yeah, we're going to want opera houses and radio stations. But for now, we're going to work on merchants. I think Firaxis deserves a lot of credit for trying something genuinely radical with the development of Civilization 7. I agree with that sentiment. Right, let me have a look around and see if we can find a town. So you're already a factory town. We can't buy anything in here that would make you even better. We could grow the capital, but that's not important for our build. Heiju, I don't think you can be a factory town. So you're probably better as a resort town, honestly. You can get a little bit of GDP here. We see a trade outpost. I think we go trade outpost. We'll go ahead and start getting our ports. There's a +3 port right here. We would like to build your railway station as well. Excellent. So that's going to be 4 GDP per turn. What's our GDP looking like? Oh, nice. Look at that upward curve. Making 180 GDP per turn, looking great. I love that you can see like the progression of our GDP per age. We should probably think about our ideology at some point. I don't think we need to worry about it just yet. So it doesn't. So it looks like the UI issue still happens, even though I didn't have my mod enabled. So I think I can go back and just re-enable my mod. Are you excited for GTA 6, or is that not your type of game? I used to love GTA. I love GTA 3, 4, San Andreas, but I'm not a teenager anymore. Not to like throw shade, but just like my interests have changed since I was a teenager. Was what I was trying to say. Not like I'm not a teenager anymore, if you know what I mean. I wasn't trying to say like you're only teenagers like GTA. It's just that my taste or interest, and I don't have a console, so like.
As empires rise and fall,
I hate Civilization 7's realistic art direction.
in the calm behind its fleets of
Civilization's
ships,
art direction, I think, is one of the worst. Civilization 7's art direction. And I hate saying this because the art team, like, they poured their heart and soul into it and they did an amazing job. But I think like the art direction is terrible. Civilization 6's art is just like on a different tier. In terms of art direction, readability. Do you still like Civ 5? Yeah, I like Civ 5. You've heard it's more like Red Dead Redemption 2? Civ 5, I mean, Civ 5 and Civ 7 are just very different games. They share a similar DNA, but they're very, very different. I like Civ 5 because it has way more classic Civilization gameplay. I need to fix this little panel popping down at some point. There's +1 city limit. We can get extra production on districts with specialists. The art direction is very subjective. I actually think whether or not you think the art looks better is subjective. Okay? Whether or not the art of Civilization 6 is more playable from a user experience, that's objective. And that's why I think Civ 6's art is so much better. I wouldn't mind getting the extra culture from specialists. Food in cities per town you own is actually really good too for growth. I'll take the expansionist attribute point just because it's kind of fun to do it. We could lose a settlement limit here and gain specialist limit, which is kind of hilarious. I'll do it. What do specialists do and why did my gold go down to the negative when I started wars? I mean, where do I begin? So specialists produce a base amount of resources. You can see here, specialists produce 8 science and 5 culture at the cost of 2 food, 3 happiness. You can tell that this is their base yield because both of the buildings here are warehouse buildings, aka ageless buildings. How do you get your gold back to normal? You need to look at the war that you declared on. God, it's so complicated in this game. And you need to improve your war weariness. Basically, the person you've declared war with will have like a number beneath their name or something. Or like when you click on them, there'll be like a war banner thing you can click on. That'll show you like the status of the war. And if you have a negative number, that means you're getting zapped with war weariness, which is lowering the happiness in all your cities, which is crushing your gold per turn. Civ 7 maps are gorgeous in my opinion, but poor readability. They should have a visual mode that's clearer. I think, unfortunately, you just have to build your game from the ground up to be readable. And there's no way around it. There's no modes, there's no nothing. You just have to build it from the ground up to be played at this perspective. You need to choose a perspective that you play the game from, and that's it. So I think I'd like to go to political theory so that we can unlock ideology trees. In government, I could put in the Yangbang bureaucracy. I don't think this makes a big difference. Civ 6 was also gorgeous and readable. Yes, Queen, go off. Alright, where can we get some factory resources? I want lots of factory resources. I'll trade with Napoleon. Okay, he doesn't want to trade with me right now. Or rather, I don't have the influence to trade with him right now. I like the sprawling cities. The entire map becomes urban, though, is the problem. I agree with you pretty heavily there. I think Civ 7 has a lot of really cool and interesting ideas, but Firaxis didn't... This is my opinion, not a fact. Just to be clear, Railroad Tycoon, score 500 JDP by sending factory resources. This will get us a great banker. Now, what does the great banker actually do here? Because if I move over to Liverpool, we'll kind of learn about him. Establish a World Bank office and gain GDP. Okay, cool. So, what was I saying? Firaxis didn't do enough development time on the front end of this project to really work out the technical details of how cities should work. Because size 3 city with this, like as in range 1, 2, 3, with this level of urban sprawl doesn't work. The map becomes way too dense. From what I understand, this game, like each Civ game, is effectively built on the technology of the previous Civ game. And so I think what happened here is that they had a lot of ideas that they wanted to make work, but they couldn't make it work on the engine side because they didn't have the budget, time, or resources to do that deep work. And they were really focused on developing gameplay and iterating, which is important, but leaves you with this sort of like tech debt. Now, this is all opinion. It's like, I don't fucking know anything about video game development. I've never worked in video game development. But that's how it feels to me. Overbuilding and making the game in layers, like I think the crazy thing is, like, I was sitting in some of the like press meetings, the pitch meetings, and when they described the game, it sounded amazing. And fundamentally, I think the ideas that are here, like, they were cooking, you know? But when it comes to execution, that is not easy. I wouldn't mind building the cannery. 10% growth rate is, like, super strong. Hurion. So there's a merchant. Unfortunately, I don't think we have the influence to sustain merchant production anymore, so I'll go ahead and grab myself a cannery in here for the growth. Civ 8 will be the one. That's if we get a Civ 8. Who knows, man? Who knows? Okay, let's unassign all the resources from Daegu. Maybe we could slop in factory resources with quinine for GDP optimization. Honestly, it's not that much GDP and we lose a lot of happiness. I would rather have the happiness. If we still get Marvel movies, we should still get Civ. Those are two different scales of properties, my dude. That's apples to apples. No, apples to oranges, rather. Apples to pears. You're so far down the fruit tree, you don't even know where you are anymore. Okay, so Gangneon. Okay, that one. This city is basically completed. This city's basically completed. I'll repair the hospital because I'm a nice guy. We do need the port and the railway station in here, actually. Let me buy the railway. Skadoosh. Buy the port in a turn or two. That's worth 2 GDP. I'll trade with Big Timbers just because I like trade routes. Alright, so my great banker here, I need quite a bit of gold actually to run this thing. But I will wait and see what happens if I do have that gold. What do you think of the visibility of the map? Honestly, I give it 0 out of 10. I think the map is just unreadable. So there's the department store and the opera house. We kind of want both of these because we want resource capacity and we want the influence to be able to build more trade routes. I'm going to wait a turn to do the Great Banker. I don't know. Ooh, I think we trade with Rubai. Got room for another coffee in Gangneung. In terms of our GDP, we are climbing. We're about halfway to victory in terms of raw points. We're making 200 per turn, so we should make good progress here. You're super hyped for Doomsday? I haven't really been keeping up with Marvel movies. It's like something I need to unironically do. It's like spend more time learning, watching Marvel movies. I completely just fell off Marvel movies after like the first Iron Man and X-Men and stuff like this. Just like, I just fell off that hype train. I was never really on it, to be fair. I've got 3,500 gold. I want to tap a Great Banker button. How much GDP do I gain? I press the button. That's 1,000 GDP. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of GDP. Haven't watched a Marvel movie since Endgame. I didn't even watch Endgame, dude. That's how out of the Marvel scene I am. Hooked on a feeling. I do remember going to see Guardians of the Galaxy on a date. I didn't know what I was in for. I was so unplugged from culture. I was like, oh, that was a great movie. I had no idea what I was seeing was like the unfolding of a entire like world-changing property. I think we went on like a total of maybe 3 dates. Trade route. Stoke-upon-Trent. Yes, please. The new Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Was that the one with the No Way Home? With the multiverse?
In the Enlightenment, what does
The multiverse
not
one?
end up in numbers becomes
Overbuilding, building maintenance, and hermitage. I wouldn't mind the building maintenance one. I could drop yeomanry. It's like quite a bit of golden happiness. We've got a narrative choice. I'll take a cultural attribute point, please. We can plug that cultural attribute point into our specialists, which sounds like fun. Yeah, I liked that one. That's one of the few Spider-Man movies I have actually seen. Let's travel to a new city. Let's go to Nara. Oh, there's deer there. I went to Nara. Nara was cool. Kikyeonju. I need to look for... There was somewhere I was trying to build a railroad. I wanted to build a port in Wonju. That's what I wanted to do. I'm just so over multiverses. Fair. Hey, Potato, what's the state of Civ 7 at this moment? Is it worth buying? I'm still playing Civ 6. Don't know if the new game is at a point where it's worth to make the transition. I think the game is 50% off for the base game. So realistically, from launch, it is the cheapest time to get into it if you're interested in that. If you are not interested in that, then don't, I think, is the answer. I see, it really depends on like what angle you're asking that question from. If it's like you're interested in the game and it's from a financial point of view and you want to try it out, then buy the base game. Like if you're not worried, if you're just worried about spending a bunch of money on a game, like $30 for Civ 7 is like a pretty good deal. If you're skipping all the DLC, but if it's a case of like, ooh, I really want to sink my teeth into a game, and like the money isn't really an issue, then it's kind of a different property, you know? The recommendation that I give you changes based on the analysis of your personal circumstances. And so I can't just give you a blanket answer. We need another chunk of gold. Okay, that gets more expensive. What are your favorite strategy games to recommend? God, there's so many. What kind of strategy game are you looking for? If you want a city builder, Against the Storm. It's the best city builder ever made. If you want a city builder, Songs of Six. It's the second best city builder ever made. If you want like a 4X kind of game, Civ 6, hands down, one of the best. Civ 5, still really good and relevant. Civ 7, interesting. If you want to play RTS, my recommendation is... Ooh. Honestly, I don't have an RTS recommendation that isn't StarCraft 2. for games that came out after StarCraft 2, if that makes sense. Stellaris, I wouldn't consider Stellaris to be a 4X game. Stellaris is a grand strategy game.
I died from the mineral and I became the plant.
Okay, there's natural history.
And I arose.
We don't care about natural history. It's not important to us. We're not going for artifacts. I think... ...4X in spirit. I would give it maybe some 4X in spirit, sure. Social policies, we could plug in land heritage. We don't care about land heritage. We don't care about mountains or natural wonder yields. I think, actually, you know what? I think I'll give you a bit of credit that, yeah, Stellaris does have that, like, you start the game with nothing and then you move. I'm still in the process of, like, buying my ports and stuff, so I think I'll buy a port right here. Beautiful. That takes care of Wonju. So I've pretty much, I think, fully developed all the towns on my homelands. So let's have a look at Heiju, I believe, would like a factory, but it'll be quite expensive. And it would have to exist for 500 turns to be more efficient than just tapping the Great Banker. So that's something we need to consider. We're at 15k GDP. We could get another 1,000 GDP this turn if we wanted to. No, I told a lie. I have to wait a bit. Let's build the opera house for the influence. We do want more trade routes. Let's improve our trade route with Napoleon. And then we'll trade with Gades. Anno is another fantastic city builder. The new Anno, I really liked it. There's a lot of really classic Anno games as well. Super fun game. Highly recommend Anno. 4X acronym doesn't include turns. I know 4X games don't include turns, but Stellaris feels more like a grand strategy game when I play it. You can have a 4X RTS. You can have a, but Stellaris doesn't feel like an RTS game. It plays like a grand strategy, from a gameplay feel vibe. In terms of celebrations, I'll take 1,000 science. That'll shave a turn off my tech. I will place... We don't have very good cards here. Yeomanry is fine. Nomads is very fun. Nomads is very fun. What's the exact game name? Anna? It's A-N-N-O. Anno. I wouldn't call Paradox games RTS, but they're definitely 4X. Paradox games are not 4X. They're grand strategy. Stellaris is kind of halfway between a grand strategy and a 4X game. 4X games, typically, you start with nothing and you grow a giant empire. That's kind of how the 4X gameplay format works. Stellaris has that, but its gameplay feel plays more like a grand strategy game. Grand does, like, what you call something a grand strategy game, not because it's grand, but because that's what the genre plays like. And it's just a way, it's the same way like first person shooter, right? Stellaris is like a grand strategy 4X game. In the same way that Civilization is a turn-based 4X strategy game. If you don't think about Balatro as a 4X game, I don't know what that chatter is smoking, but it sounds like he's having a great time. So let's go to another capital here. Narbo Martius is next. Balatro is a deck builder. That's true. Yeah, City Skyline doesn't have Exterminate. I think a key part of the 4X genre is that they are fundamentally at their hearts war games. There might be an economic simulation, there might be an economic layer, but at their hearts, they are war games. Okay, we know 3,000 gold. We can do that in 2 turns. Where do we stand on the economic side of things? Yeah, look at that. We're at 17,000 GDP. When we get to 50%, I'm pretty sure we'll win the game. 50% age progress, which is kind of cool. No thinking is crucial for that statement. Very true. Very true. Can you give me open borders? Let's try that again. He rejects it. Why? What did I do to you? I'm gonna poop in your coffee. We gotta wait for more gold, so we'll chill. I have 1 hour left on my shift, and I cannot go any slower. It cannot go any slower. What do you work as? What's your job? Let's get chatting, chatter. Ooh, cheaper maintenance of specialists, tradition slots, ideology trees. That's excellent. So I would love to slot in. Oh yeah, free speech got better. You passed butter? That you're not the guy I asked. But let me tell you. Sure, let's go for Hangzhou. Call center for an airline. Are you work from home? Do you like your job? Or do you just find it tedious sometimes? All right, what do we got here? Democracy? Gentlemen, this is democracy manifest. It's the worst. Oh, you hate your job. Let's see, communism would give us science and food from specialists at the cost of gold and happiness. Expansionist, scientific. I don't know if we really care. Ooh, fascism gives economic attribute points. Absolutism. Bum, bum, ba, bum, 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 ba, bum. I don't think we need an ideology, honestly. Anything to hear that we can like find extra GDP? Here we go. GDP from conquered settlements. That's no use. GDP returned from worked coal and oil. Yeah. You hate your job? You see, communism would give us. Do you think Civ 7 is getting more and more better with each update? Will ever reach the height of Civ 6? I can't predict the future. I can tell you how I feel about things right now, and how I feel about things right now is I think Civ 7 is like moving in the right direction at what feels like a very slow pace. It feels like the game initially had a really big team of developers that worked really, really hard on it. And now it feels like there are not many people working on the game. Now, I'm not saying that's how it is, that's how it feels. Because it feels like things move very slowly. Like the things that they do are big, and they're sweeping, and they're incredible. But there's like little things, just like the UI just day one needed to be redesigned. And they've just been kind of like they've been nibbling at the edges. You know what I mean? It's how it feels. Okay, new victory tier, momentous victory, 2x. So, yeah, I'm winning. Perfect. So yesterday's stream was longer than planned, and today's stream will be shorter than planned. I'll get to work on a radio station. But yeah, well, we got a victory. I think Civ 7 needed more time in the oven from a gameplay point of view. Specifically at the early stages of development. They really needed to put more in on the technical side of things. I think, like, my gut tells me that Marvel Midnight Suns kind of flopping, we'll win in 3 turns, meant that the development of Civilization 7 was probably affected in some way, and it led to Ideal. Shorter than planned sounds not good for us. Well, we've only been going for 2 hours. But here's the thing. I'm speculating. I don't have any. I'm not Jason Schreier or whatever, Schreier or whatever his name is. I don't know people. People don't tell me things, and I don't go looking for that information, because then it's complicated when you're given privileged information. Because there are things that I know that are privileged about certain aspects of the game's development and certain things behind the scenes, but those are very, those are like off the cuff things about, like, you think, is there an example of something I can give that's privileged that wouldn't reveal privileged information? Hold on, let me think. That's a hard one. Let me think. I can't think of something that I could give an example of that wouldn't reveal privileged information. But like it's usually just small things, like like here's an example. Like a couple of people No, I can't say that, unfortunately. Damn it. I can't reveal privileged information. I'm sorry. I wish I could explain it to you. But it's really just people being, like, nervous or worried or scared, or like, ooh, I'm worried that the game won't land. But that's like a normal fear. But in, like, Civilization 7's point of view, that fear turned out to be, like, a lot more real. Marvel Midnight Suns is 100% one of the best top-down strategy games ever made. One of the best RPGs. It's so good, and it's such a shame that people didn't play it, including me. But yeah, we won an economic victory.
SunSin's flagship sailed
So that was our first victory with SunSin. Oh, I didn't know his name was SunSin. I thought it was SunSin. But like, I wish the leaders weren't 3D models and instead they looked like this concept art. I love the leader portrait art. Even like the contrast between what we just looked at and this portrait art, I think the other one was way nicer. I think this was a pretty good game. So like, let's do like a little review of the game we just did. Okay, yeah, we unlocked some stuff for SunSin. So, my first impression with SunSin is that he was kind of a boring military leader, right? He can construct fleet commanders after studying discipline and antiquity. My gut told me this is something that just everyone should be able to do. He gets a fleet commander once you've researched discipline. He gets one for free. And you have a harbor building with access to the ocean. This is something that I kind of felt like every Civ should just have this ability in some shape or form, and then he should just be better at it. It kind of feels weird that he's the only one that can do this. Defeating an enemy unit with naval unit provides science equal to 100% of the defeated unit's combat strength. I actually think it would be really interesting to play a game that tries to lean into this. That could be a lot of fun. We may spin up another SunSin game. I love the idea of science buildings when you build them, giving you experience to all of your fleet commanders. I like the idea of this being going militaristic scientific. I love that you get gold for fighting. I think he has a really, really interesting kit, which is super interesting, specifically from the getting science and gold from fighting, and then getting commander experience from building science buildings, like especially in combination with certain civilizations that might have like a special science building or something. Super, super fun, super interesting civilization, or its leader. Had a lot of fun playing it. On the civilization side of things, I think Joseon has one of the more interesting gameplay spaces because of their like unique interactions with specialists. But in my opinion, okay, hold on. No, I won't go there yet, but we'll talk about Wide and Tall later. This is like such a cool ability that feels really interesting. The fact that like you can always build more specialists in your capital than your other ones, and you have like the city limit mechanic, and you can build like tier 1 science and culture buildings in your towns to make up for the fact that you don't have as many or as strong towns, like, or as cities. And like their abilities are like super, super fun and interesting, right? The Seiya one allows you to pump up your capital's population. It gives you culture. It gives you culture and science and production and happiness, and it really, really fun, really, really interesting. I didn't really get to play around with the turtle ship. It didn't seem super super good. I guess it's really strong on coast. It seemed like it was of no consequence. Similarly, the Jangyong Gyung, like it didn't seem like it was of much consequence. I didn't really make use of it in my game. I really liked their traditions. I love the extra culture per population of the capital and the 15% growth in towns with any focus. I love the happiness per population of the capital. I think the culture from specialists and the happiness and the Yangbang bureaucracy, these are all really, really cool, fun, and interesting traditions to interact with. Had a ton of fun with those. Yeah, I think overall, I think Joseon is a really well-designed civilization from a fun point of view. But I think this is like something that just keeps coming back to me from a gameplay design point of view in Civilization 7, which is that it feels like a lot of civilizations and a lot of leaders have abilities that would make a lot more sense if they were like things that everyone had access to, right? Like things like early naval commanders. Like, why can't everyone have naval commanders in the Antiquity Age? It just feels weird. Like, I'm sorry, did naval commanders only appear in the Exploration Age? Like, what are we trying to, like, gameplay? I understand that from like a gameplay point of view, it makes like this really nice, neat thing of trees. But similarly, like, I feel like when it comes to the taller wide, the decisions that you make in, like, say, the expansionist tree, that should be a like a real choice. Is like, ooh, am I going to focus on pumping up my capital or having lots of cities? Am I going to focus on having lots of towns and a few cities, or lots of towns and or lots of cities? And like, these abilities in here, these hooks, feel like they would be much better placed in some sort of system, kind of similar to Civ 5's policy choices, where players can construct a set of bonuses that are like interesting and unique, and it just doesn't feel like they're there. If you know what I mean. Anyway, really like Joseon. We could play another game if you guys would like. I probably... No. How did I do on his leveling up? So I got him to level 4. What are his abilities? +2 combat strength to naval units when defending. Okay. It's thematically interesting, not particularly good. 20% fleet commander experience, thematically interesting, not particularly good. We've got Nanjung Ilgi, which is 20% production towards science buildings, thematically interesting, not particularly good. Thematically, yeah, he's fine. problem with Civ 7 is like all the leaders' bonuses have to be so like narrow. I'll be right back. I gotta pee. I'm gonna get myself a drink. I'm gonna pee, and then we'll think about what we want to do next. All right. Did you ever like Age of Mythology? Yeah, I like Age of Mythology. So from a content point of view right now, here's where my head is at. Like we have a stream And it's on YouTube and Twitch. And if I end my stream right now on YouTube, we like automatically get like a really clean VOD that people can go watch. And this is like the dilemma that I'm having. If we end our stream right now, we get a really clean VOD that people could go watch. But then we lose all, but lose viewers. And so part of me, whereas like we don't have that VOD problem on Twitch because like, who cares, right? Whatever. But what I might do is end the stream, get a nice clean VOD, and then load up a new stream on YouTube where we either play more Civ 7 or some other game. So I tell you what, I think that's going to be the end of the YouTube portion of the stream. I'll pop my Twitch link into chat, but there will be a new YouTube stream in a few minutes. I like the idea of getting the clean VOD. So I think that's what we're going to do. So here you go for the chat. And over on Twitch, we're gonna have a conversation about what game we're gonna play next. Sorry, I just gave the YouTube link, not the Twitch link. I'm actually a dummy. It's not as clean now with the explanation at the end. That's not important. Anyway, yeah, here's a link. Hop on over to Twitch where we're going to talk about what our next game is going to be, and then we'll start up a new VOD on YouTube. This is just for the VOD viewers. We're going to put a cut. Skadoosh.